Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark for June 30th, 2020. We open AEW Dark number 40 with a promo with Avalon and Brandon Cutler, how they don't want to team up anymore, which is something that I noted on the last show. Leva's there. Leva wants them to team up, and she's happy that it's been announced that they have a tag match tonight. The Young Bucks show up, who are their opponents for the night, and they get in a shameless pitch for their books, for their book that's about to come out, which apparently Avalon has somehow already read. Funny little interlude there. It sets up our main event, our de facto main event, as it were. We go into the AEW Dark intro. Simple, easy, effective. Excalibur and Taz are our commentators, and they do their usual stellar job. I thought they had nice chemistry tonight. I think they're very comfortable working together. As much as I would love that gig from Excalibur, I'm not even going to lie. I think he's doing an increasingly good job every single time. And of course, we already know I'm a big fan of Taz. I think Taz and Samoa Joe are the two guys that are really doing a fantastic job, who are not known as commentators first, but I think do a really good job. Do a little brief promo for Fyter Fest, which is, well, tonight as of this taping. So I'm excited about that. Match number one, Platinum, Max Caster, who it says it on his intro video, but they never call him as such. And as being Stephen Platinum, that's weird. Okay, he's taking on Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard. They talk a lot about that glove. That's basically the theme, is they're talking about that glove. Shawn Spears gives a little bit to Caster, but for the most part, this is an exhibition for Shawn Spears. That running Death Valley driver thing that Shawn Spears did is great. He should definitely keep that as a steady finisher, with the glove being used as necessary. After he wins the match, he comes back and wallops him with the loaded glove, on principle, I suppose. Match number two, Lance Archer with Jake Roberts against Pineapple Pete. Boy, Lance Archer is out of control, almost runs over Jake Roberts. I will say that I prefer Lance Archer jumping his opponent before the bell as they're doing their entrance to beating up a random staff person. I hope this is a trend, that we're not going to have Lance Archer beat up staff members anymore unless we're going to make that make sense. So I'm very pleased with that. Joey Janela and Lance Archer get into it to set up their Fyter Fest match even further, which I like. When I say get into it, they don't really get physical with each other, but they definitely interact. Joey Janela, I think, surprised Lance Archer when Lance Archer was outside of the ring by saying something to him, because Lance Archer didn't really have a response, but then later on most certainly did. The choke slam on the corner of the apron on Suge, aka Pineapple Pete, that was the move. I think that was probably going to be the move of the show, where it's just like, oh my god, it just looked brutal as heck. Hope Suge's okay. And then it beats him. Boy, Lance Archer gives Pineapple Pete a lot. Pineapple Pete got in his offense, no doubt. I think a lot of people are going to argue way too much. Pineapple Pete, who got knocked out by one Judas elbow from Chris Jericho, and but he's all over Lance Archer. But you know what? I didn't hate it. It's very much an AEW Dark thing. Lance Archer at the end, he hits his Fall of Man move, or whatever that is, and then he does the claw. He doesn't put the knee across the chest or throat when he applies the claw for the pin. Small thing I noticed, but you know, I noticed it. And Joey Janela declares to Lance Archer Lance Archer is going to beat on Pineapple Pete some more, but Joey Janela gets in there and then declares that the bad boy never dies. Number three, Griff Garrison, who I think is doing the best job of any of the people brought in to enhance. Is taking on Ricky Sparks, and I'm excited because now we'll get to see what Griff Garrison can do. I think the spot that looked wonky, though I think it was absolutely intentional, which is probably a tribute to Griff Garrison's sell, is when Griff Garrison went into the ropes, Ricky Sparks went on all fours instead of laying flat down, and Griff Garrison tripped on him. Here's what's weird, is I expected Griff Garrison to have much more offense against Ricky Sparks, but I guess they're giving the big push to Ricky Sparks, who they signed recently. So really, Griff Garrison got more stuff off on the guys that you thought he would get squashed by. But here, Ricky Spears really kind of has his way with him. Hits the spear for Spears on Griff Garrison, gets the pin. And then Ricky Sparks has a nice little... it's small things like this that I really like, where he goes up and he shines Excalibur on and gives a fist bump to Taz. Again, a nice little moment, sort of showing what camp he's roughly running in. Number 4 match. But again, yeah, Griff Garrison did a great job with what he was given to do. I heard that he was going to get the 3 appearances. Hopefully they'll bring him in more. I imagine they will. I saw Griff Garrison had a nice little Twitter exchange with MJF that was amusing. Number 4, Scorpio Sky against Brady Pierce. I see Scorpio Sky is not doing the the TKO, which I like. Brady Pierce looked good here. This is the most offense Brady Pierce has gotten to do, and he looked very good. And again, I think it's been said before, Brady Pierce, very tall guy, very good-looking guy. Those gold boots are the business, man. Those things are great. It fills out a little bit more, gets a little smoother. He'll be right in the game. Scorpio Sky this time did a springboard over the top rope into a cutter that's definitely better, definitely exhibits Scorpio Sky's strengths a little bit. Is that going to be Scorpio Sky's finisher? I don't know. God, I would love to talk to Scorpio Sky and give him something. I used to give guys moves all the time. But yeah, Scorpio Sky looks great, works well with anybody. He's, the proverbial good hand, and I don't mean to damn him with faint praise. Scorpio Sky's really good. Number 5 match, Kylan King and Skylar Moore against Brandy Rhodes and Allie. Just the interplay between Brandy Rhodes and Allie, Brandy comes to the ring enthusiastically with Dustin at her side. Allie comes to the ring with a picture of QT that she's kissing. It's ridiculous. It's funny. We get the story. It's really good. The story of the match I really liked as well, where Brandy's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the beginning, and Brandy Rhodes was never a really good wrestler, but she's getting there. And then Allie comes in and demolishes them. And, blind tags herself in and all this kind of stuff to create more dissension. And then after demolishing them, tags in Brandy Rhodes so she can just get the pin, which on the surface is a nice team thing to do, but definitely doesn't come across that way as per intent. Brandy Rhodes, when they say they're like the Nightmare Sisters or whatever, and then going on the microphone and saying, no, we're not sisters, was a kind of a bitchy move, and some would read that as, well, that's not a very babyface thing to say, but it's just clear that Brandy's reached a breaking point with Allie, but has to tolerate it. That's coming across. That's a story that they're telling very well. Simple story, but hey, why not, right? Give people stuff to do. It's much more entertaining. Number 6 match, Low Rida and Fuego del Sol against Butcher and the Blade. Butcher and the Blade, that double hip toss was the greatest thing I've seen in a long time. And at first I wrote down no replay, because usually they replay the big stuff right away, but they did end up replaying it, which is really great. I love the cloverleaf thing where the guy got out of it, Butcher powerbombed him, and then lost the grip on the Texas cloverleaf, but was turning it into something else when the guy tapped out. I really like that idea. Butcher and the Blade, I know there's people that don't get the gimmick. I heard Jim Cornette saying he doesn't get what they're doing. I like it. Being interesting and standing out. Nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's advisable. And Butcher and the Blade, who do not have the quote-unquote bunny with them anymore, who's Allie, don't miss her. And they're forging their own path, and they have a match at Fyter Fest, which, even though it was a microwave match, where it's like, we're going to team with the Lucha Brothers against the Young Bucks and FTR. Like, what? But I'm all for it. And finally, we get to our last match, Avalon and Brandon Cutler with Leva Bates. Someone's going to tell Taz that that's a dice that he is rolling. It's part of like a D&D gimmick. I don't get the D&D gimmick, which is part of the appeal that he has as a guy that's not quite a star, honestly. They're taking on the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks, I haven't watched a crap ton of Young Bucks stuff, but I will note here that, man, they're good at the tag team stuff, and they're good at the give and take. The commentators, along with me, noted appropriately that the Young Bucks, neither one of them have tape-ribbed anymore. The spot where Cutler is running wild and doing one move after another and stringing things together and having the Bucks hit each other was fantastic. And then Avalon suddenly working with them in lockstep as a team, and the two of them working. I see you, Avalon and Cutler, and the Young Bucks for helping make that happen. I see that story of we don't want a team together, but we're sort of jibing as a team. And even in the loss, the Young Bucks had them shake hands, sort of to acknowledge that they are a good team. Really great, really good episode of AEW Dark. I will say this, 7 matches, much easier to watch than 9 or 11. And yeah, a very good, solid AEW Dark show. I like that they're improving. I'm not saying it's because of me, but I am saying that things that I'm noticing that should be cleaned up are getting cleaned up, and I definitely appreciate that. And then, of course, we have a little promo for Fyter Fest Night 1, which is happening today, so I'm excited about that. Thank you for joining me for Platinum versus AEW Dark. I am Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling.